What's up guys? If you ever wanted to know how to pass the NCLEX in 75 questions, then stick around. Welcome back to the vlog. So I've had a ton of you guys messaging me on Facebook and Instagram and emailing me asking me how I passed the NCLEX in 75 questions, what I did to prepare, and what is going to give you guys the best chance to pass boards in as little questions as possible and the first time. Alrighty guys, so disclaimer, this isn't the be all end all of studying and preparing for boards. This is just how I passed the boards and what I did to prepare for my boards when I took them. How I prepared for boards is my school that I attended, we used a company called ATI Testing, and so basically ATI is a company that a lot of schools and institutions already use, and basically what they do is they provide online material and they provide books and other services to the school, which can then in turn provide those services to the students to be able to prepare them for boards. So we started testing with ATI from the first semester to the last, and in the beginning we would take an entrance test, and that basically just kind of tested our general base knowledge of what we knew about nursing and what we knew about a particular subject within the field of nursing. And then each semester we would have tests due that were online. They were proctored exams from one of our instructors, and they would be online on the computer on ATI's website, and you had to score at such a percentage in order to get a certain grade, and they would do it in categories as far as what grade you got based upon the actual raw score that you got on the test. So our last semester we actually took 3 ATI exams throughout the semester on different subjects, and then at the end of the semester we took what would be an exit exam for nursing school, and that's called the Comprehensive Predictor. The Comp Predictor, which was provided by ATI online, was a proctored exam. It was 150, no, I take that back. The practice exams were 150 questions. The proctored exam was 180. So it's kind of like a practice NCLEX test, and the questions, if any of you guys use ATI in your school, know that ATI questions are not easy, so it's meant to be hard and it's meant to mimic the boards. And so the Comp Predictor was basically a test that covered literally everything you've learned in nursing school and everything that would be on the NCLEX. And so something special that the ATI company does is at the end of your last semester, your very last week of school, they have a representative that comes to your school and will meet with all of the students that are getting ready to graduate that week, and they will meet with them for 3 days. And these sessions, I think they lasted from like 8 a.m. to like 4 p.m. each and every day, and we went over literally everything that you've learned in school and everything that's going to be on the boards. So they gave us the book. It's called the Comprehensive Nclex-Rn Review, and this book basically has every single subject that's covered in nursing school, everything that I mentioned earlier, and it is kind of a nice, neat little study tool because it will give you pretty much the basics of each topic and what is the important parts of that topic, I guess. So if it's talking about medications and pharmacology, it'll give you what the medication is and what it does and the major side effects, but it's not going to leave out all the fluff material that a textbook would. However, with that being said, I really didn't even use that book at all. Actually, a matter of fact, I think I read 2 pages out of that book, and it just got to be too much for me. And that's not really how I study, by reading a lot. I really study by doing. I'm very hands-on and I'm very audio-visual, so I study by watching videos and listening and seeing somebody else do a subject or something first. However, not all topics in nursing can be covered in that way, so some topics in nursing have to be just straight reading from a textbook. We also were given in school this book. It's called the Saunders Nclex-Rn Examination, and I know a lot of schools, ADM programs and BSN programs alike, are going with this book. So this book has a little bit more detail, a little bit more information in it, and it has pictures. As I said, I'm a very visual learner, so it kind of helped me a little bit in terms of being able to see an illustration of what the subject was being talked about at hand. So I personally use the Saunders book a little bit more. I'm going to link both of the books in the description below to where you can find and purchase them on Amazon. In no way, shape, or form is this an endorsement or a sponsored video by either one of these companies. These are just the books that I use pretty much. The number one way that I used to study was on ATI's website. So a lot of you know that ATI is a website that has exams on there, and they have a comprehensive predictor, and they have a bunch of practice questions and practice exams on pretty much every single subject that you will learn in nursing school, and that will be covered on boards. ATI does a really good job at making really freaking hard questions, and that is pretty much what boards are like. What you see on ATI, if your school uses it, is what you'll see on boards, and a lot of the questions are worded the exact same way. So I actually thought that the ATI Comp Predictor exam that we took our last semester, which was our final, I actually thought that test was harder than when I took boards. So the good news about if your school uses ATI is it's going to give you your results immediately after the test, and then as you take exams throughout nursing school, it kind of tells you a predictability score of your chances of passing the NCLEX on the first time. So I think from the first semester to the last, my predictability score I think started off at like a 95%, and then it climbed to like a 97% by my last semester. And on the comp predictor, I actually scored a 97%, which is not a raw score. I think my raw score is like a 70 something, but it was a predictability score. So it's basically it's basically ATI saying that you're have a 97% chance of passing boards on the first try. So guys, that's how I studied for boards. I know not everybody has access to ATI immediately right off the bat, because their school may not be using ATI like my school did. However, I want to put a link in the description below to ATI's website where you can actually purchase all of the study material and online test material that I used in order to study for boards. With that being said, I didn't go out and buy a $200 or $300 program in order to study for boards. I used what was available to me, which was 2 books and some online test questions, and that's pretty much what I used to study. I didn't go out and waste my money. Not that these programs are a waste of money, but I felt comfortable enough with my test taking ability and what I knew and had learned throughout nursing school in order to go into the NCLEX and pass the first time. So what I did, guys, is I actually tried to make it my goal to study an average of 25 questions every single day. There were certain days, I'll be honest, I admit that I didn't even open a book. I didn't think anything about nursing, and that's just life. That's what happens. Some days you get busy and you can't, and you have activities. I mean, I graduated in December, so Christmas and the holidays and New Year's, everything with that, I mean, it kind of makes it hard to be able to really dedicate a lot of time towards studying for boards. However, I will say after the holidays, I did make it my mission to study an average of 25 questions a day. Some days I studied more, 30 or 40 or 50, and some days I may have only studied like 10, or I may have just kind of read some material and didn't really study any questions at all. But I did make it my mission to try to do something nursing related in some studious capacity every single day until I took boards. Also, I do recommend taking boards as quickly as possible. Some people that I know took boards within as early as, I think, like 3 to 4 weeks after we graduated, which I was like, I don't know how you schedule that quickly, but, and then other people I know waited, 3, 4, 5, 6 months after we graduated to take boards. And I think, in my opinion at least, the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be, because unless you're being very strict on yourself and studying every single day and always like having that material fresh in your head, if you're not doing that, you're like losing your memory of the material essentially. Alrighty guys, so that's what I did to study for boards and pass the NCLEX in 75 questions. If you guys are getting ready to graduate this semester here this week, I believe, and you're getting ready to take boards here in a couple of months, let me know below in the comments below how you plan on studying for boards and what you're doing in order to study. And then also, if you're a nurse already and you've already taken and passed boards, or just taken boards in general, even if you failed the first time or failed the second time or passed the first time, it doesn't matter. Let me know in the comments below how you studied for boards and what you thought was helpful to you. It may be helpful to somebody that's watching this video that is looking for tips and tricks to study for their upcoming NCLEX. So drop a comment below on how you prepared for the boards. As always guys, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for this upcoming week's video. I know I promised it like 3 weeks ago, but it's going to be on my month number 2 of orientation. Currently I'm actually in my 4th month, so these videos are going to be a little bit late, but I'm going to be putting out my 2nd month's orientation and how I progressed in my 2nd month, and how I'm kind of pushing towards being on my own and being more independent every day. Thanks guys.